Right. So let's look at this idea of the rights issue. I guess the first question is, what is a rights issue? Well, a rights issue is a situation where a business wants to raise more money, but they don't want to go outside the current structure or the current shareholding of the organization. So they appeal to existing shareholders for more money, and they say to them, "Listen, you give us some more money, we'll give you shares, of course, but you don't have to give us as much. You give us less than the market value as some sort of, incentive." And yeah, I mean, you're giving us less money than the market because we're saving on admin costs and broker costs and all of the above. So you do have money coming in, but it is less than the actual market value. And so the market itself, the external market, is looking at that thinking, well, really what's happened is that you've had a fall overall, the average price of each of these shares, the real market value, what we will come to call the TERP, the theoretical X rights price, has actually fallen. The real market value is no longer what it was when you had the first scenario. But once you issue more shares at a lower value, then overall the average value of a share has fallen. And so the question then is, then in terms of doing things fairly or keeping the structure right, given that we already have a system in place of dealing with bonus issues where we have free shares and we have market issues at the market value, the argument is we can really split up a rights issue into this sort of structure, and we already have a way of dealing with this, if you like, and then it becomes very clear. So we already have a system of dealing with bonus issues and market issues, and that's how they wish us to the standard wishes to approach this sort of idea. So I write here, rights issues present special problems. They contribute additional resources, but these are normally priced below the full market price. Therefore, they combine the characteristics of an issue at full market price and at bonus issue So let's look at so we combine the characteristics of this. In effect, like I say, we're issuing it looks as though we're issuing some shares at fair value and some shares for free. I mean, again, there's a sense in that, right? It's like saying someone comes into it doesn't really matter. I could give you a number. If someone comes into your shop to buy, I don't know, phones, and ordinarily you sell each of these phones at £100, for example, and you now say to them, listen, you can buy four phones, and you can buy four phones, if you like, at a lower price. Um, But if you like, the key point here really is that what you're really doing in effect is giving some. You're really giving one of the phones, for example, if you like, you're saying you're giving one of the phones for free, but really it's just that you're changing the pricing over the range of the shares, and that's what we're about to see. Okay, so the fair value shares issued for actual funds need to be time weighted. So again, we're doing our time weighting as normal, um, because the market value is always, remember, we do the weighting whenever we have a new market value. We weight the shares, and the bonus element we treat again as though they happened at the beginning of the year, and that's really the principle in place. But just to prove this idea of what I was just saying here, I'm going to use an example. So here we have this, because the question is, how do we get this bonus fraction? That's the issue here. So here I say, for example, I have a number of shares in issue of 800,000. That's what I currently have, of 800,000 shares. And this is the current yield and current weight, of course, 800,000. That's where I start at the beginning of the year. And each of those shares, if you like, 800,000, the current market value at that time is £3. So the full value of those shares at the time is 2.4 million. Yes, 2.4 million. That's the case. And then what you go and do is that you go and you do a rights issue, if you like, in effect of you do a rights issue of 400,000. So basically, you say I'll give you one share for every two existing shares that you have. So if you have 800,000 shares, it means that you're basically given an extra share, but you are only getting in £1.50 for these shares. So you get £1.50, you now have a total of 600,000 come in. So you now have, I mean, they're full shares. When I say they're full shares, they're actual shares. So you now have 1.2 million shares, but they have a value of 3 million. So the real market looks and says, well, the market value is no longer 3, the market value is now 2.5. The market value is now 2.5. Right, so per share. And that's so this 2.5 is referred to as the TERP, as the TERP. So just to kind of understand, prove how we get this bonus fraction, I want to show you what's really happened here. So what's really happened here? You now have this market value at £2.50. The question is, how do we work out this bonus issue? So how many free shares did you really give? Well, let's look at it. You issued 400,000 shares at £1.50, bringing in 600,000. So you brought in 600,000, if you like, in. And we currently know that the fair value, right, of these shares is £2.50. So if the fair value of these shares are £2.50 and you brought in 600,000, well, all I need to do is divide this 600,000 by £2.50. I do it on the next slide, but I just want to do this before I get to the next slide. £2.50, and you have 240,000 sort of fully market value sort of shares, but you issued 400,000. So it means you must have issued 160,000 free shares. That must have been your bonus element. I mean, because really and truly, this is what brings in the money if you did it at the fair value of £2.50. That's what's happened. So in a way, you've diluted the whole picture. Now, to kind of prove it to you, let's look. Let me come back here. So the bonus fraction says it sort of argues that, listen, you had 800,000 shares, if you like, at the beginning. Now, what was the initial market value? 3. What is this? A theoretical X price of £2.50. Let me just go back and show you that. That was a 3. So you have the price before the rights issue divided by the TERP, right? You multiply that together and you get 960,000. 960,000 minus 800,000 is 160,000 shares. So if I want to know what my bonus fraction is, which is what I'm ultimately trying to get to, I literally need to calculate or literally divide my market price before the TERP, before anything happened, by the TERP. And that's kind of the bonus fraction in effect, the extra that you're giving to the shareholders. And we're done, literally, because the problem here is working with this bonus fraction. When I say working with it, finding what it is and applying it to the existing shares up to the date of the bonus issue, which is technically the market, and then recognize those full shares and then have a new issue, if you like. So let's look at that. Let's look at that scenario. Let's look at how that plays out. So in effect, again, you can see what I'm talking about here. This is the picture really here. It says you have 800,000, of course, and then I have that bonus element that I'm going to add on to this, of course, and I'm going to weight that technically, and then of course you issued, if you like, and then of course you will have that these become full shares at the date of the bonus issue, which is the same date as the market issue, because a rights issue is a combination of both. And you have these as the new market shares. So you typically might see this in the question as just the full 400,000. But like before, don't forget, my bonus shares become full shares on the very last date of that bonus issue, which is the same date as the market issue for rights issues, of course. And so, and that's kind of the principle. Okay, great. So I'm just going to leave this for now and just go through the process, and then before we do the question. Right, so the first thing is, again, like I say here, is to determine the weighted average capital, which is so the whole point here is that I need to adjust for the bonus element in the rights issue by multiplying the market price by divided by the TERP. So that's kind of the first thing I need to find. Really, I guess the first thing is finding my TERP, and you can find your TERP calculating the TERP. Step 1. So TERP 1. Straightforward scenario. If you have a 1-for-3 rights issue, this is an example. 1-for-3 rights issue for $3. So that means, again, here you issue 1 extra share at 3, but you have 3 existing shares. You basically have 3 times 5, and then you have this 1 extra share times 3. Remember, in exactly the same way, you have 15, and here you have 3. So you now have 18 shares, 18 pounds, forgive me, spread over 4 shares, and that comes to £4.50. So this is your TERP. This is the new average, weighted average, if you like, over the new weighted average over each of those shares. And so what does that mean? So that's my £4.50 real value, but my market value before was £5. So my bonus fraction is 5 over £4.40. That's what I'm always trying to find. And the rest is just as normal from what we have always done. So the first point is find your TERP, which is £4.50, and then just now you know what your bonus fraction is, 5 over £4.50. So to get that together. And then again, like as normal, apply the bonus fraction up to the date of the bonus issue. They're now full shares at this date, and carry on as normal with the market issue. So in this picture, what we had was we had on the 1st of January, we had 800,000, apply the bonus fraction all the way to the 1st of July. But on the 1st of July, remember that now you have 160,000 full shares, which were bonus, of course. And then we also have the 240,000 market full market share issues. I showed you that, but together that of course is equal to the 400, if you like, over that from then on. So of course from now on I have 800 plus 160 plus 240. I have 1.2 million shares traveling together for the final 6 months of the year, which give me, if you like, a weighted average of 600,000. So all I'm doing is repeating what I've done in all the other scenarios with my bonus issues by recognizing a bonus fraction up to the date of the bonus issue, which is exactly the same day that the market issue occurs, of these 240. So this 200, so I've separated out. The rights issue says I can separate out clearly a bonus issue for the existing shares, and you have a full market issue here, if you like, on this date as well. So 2 separate events occurring. I've dealt with the bonus issue there, and then I have a market issue there, of course. But don't ever forget that 160. These are full shares that are now realized and carry on as normal from that date onwards. And that's it. And we arrive at our 1.080 million shares. So I've said to you, please do TYU for homework. You'll see questions in the exam kit. Please practice them. It's a matter of practice and you get used to. Remember, all of this is driven by the standard. So the standard really guides us as to how we deem these things to happen and to follow through in that order. Okay, awesome. And I'll see you in the next video.